so? It's like I was gonna use ring shank.
Ring shank's probably fine, but I would
Through the into the.
yeah, down
I mean, they're 2 inch. Actually, two-inch shank nails
through the plywood.
into probably through the. You got. Well, I mean, you go. I mean, I
And
didn't want. I
it,
don't
no,
in that thing.
Go live. Okay. It is June 12th. The time is 6:32. I'll call the Newcastle Planning Board meeting to order. The first or second thing on the agenda is to review the minutes from our May 15th Planning Board meeting. Do I have a motion on the minutes? Approve, deny? Approve.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any changes, comments? Anything
They're
that,
very brief.
well, yeah,
It was a
they are.
brief
It was a
meeting.
brief meeting, but I didn't see anything. It was great.
Looks good.
There's a lot omitted, but it's not not relevant.
Oh, there is? Where?
It was. Thought about tonight.
I know.
I think it's in.
Okay, all right. Well, if you find it, all right. So, all right, all in favor of approving the minutes? Thank you. Fantastic. So next, under old business, map 7 lot 9, 99 West Hamlet Road, Coastal Rivers Conservation Trust. For an application for subdivision, we did a pre-submittal meeting for the subdivision last month, and Katie is back to excellent to go over the application. So just for the folks watching at home, could you give us a brief description of the project?
And here, the largest parcel is, which we're talking about tonight, is about 196 acres. And we're proposing to subdivide off the farmhouse and a small 2.5 acre lot. So that it can be sold and kept in the market and also continue to provide taxes to the town of Newcastle.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. So all we're doing tonight is a subdivision review. Subdivision is unfortunately a long thing. There are, oh no, my God.
Through you.
Through you. Never remember.
Almost the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
Most of it not relevant.
No, most of it not relevant. That's okay. And unfortunately, the way this works is our attorney has advised us that we need to vote on each individual thing. And then go through and then at the end, vote to approve or deny. So I think we'll actually just start at the beginning, and Michael has prepared for us a very comprehensive finding of fact and conclusion of law. And there's not a whole lot. Well, anyway, first thing I'm going to do is just ask if any member of the planning board has or can identify any potential conflict of interest with the submitted application. If so, speak now or forever hold your peace. Everyone is holding their peace. So no conflicts of interest. So we're going to dive right in. We're going to go over the findings of facts. If we have any questions, feel free to speak up, or, you know, if we get it wrong. And I'm not even going to go through all of this. I'm going to jump straight to the subdivision standards. So, well, no, actually that's not true. I'm sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to amend what I said before. We have to vote on on compliance with each of the articles, and then each of the individual sections of subdivision before we vote on. So it's like a lot of voting, but it's procedural. It just is what it is. So we're going to go through, starting with Article 1. And I'm just going to say, there's nothing in the application that conflicts with Article 1. So do I have a motion to approve Article 1? Thank you. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Great. Thank you. Okay. Article 2, district standards. This is lots, newly created lots. This is the proposed subdivision is in the rural district. It meets all the new lots will meet the standards of the district. And there was nothing Michael flagged for review or comment. So do I have a motion to accept Article 2? Moved and seconded, thank you. Do we have any discussion about Article 2? All in favor of Article 2? That passes unanimously. Article 3, site standards. There are no notes about anything because at this time, you're not actually proposing to do anything other than subdivide the lot. So nothing changes
And the building is uninhabitable.
and the building is uninhabitable, correct? Didn't you say it was like the well is ripped out and like everything is like not working or something?
It's just like a-
There's water, no, like-
There's no water, there's no nothing.
No, no,
Okay, all right.
that's fine.
It looks wonderful from the outside.
Yeah.
Nice house.
Whenever a building is proposed, it'll come back. Right, okay. Do I have a motion on Article 3? Moved, do we have a second? Seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion about Article 3? All in favor of Article 3? And passes unanimously. Article 4, building standards. We don't have a building. Not applicable, but we're gonna vote on it anyway.
We do have buildings, but we're not doing it.
But we're not doing it.
They're not.
On one
So,
lot, we have.
right. Do I have a motion on Article 4?
So
Moved and seconded. Do we have any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor of Article 4, that passes unanimously. Article 5, no design standards, same thing, don't apply. Do I have a motion on Article 5? Moved, seconded. I hate this. Any discussion about Article 5? No? All in favor of Article 5? Article 5 passes. Article 6, use standards. There are no proposed uses for the subdivision at this time, so it's not applicable, but do I have a motion that we're in compliance with Article 6? Moved, seconded. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor? Article 6 passes. Article 7. Now, this is where we get to subdivision. So, I just want to make a note that all the applicability of public notice, published notice, public hearing, all of that has been met for the subdivision, including the pre-submittal meeting that we had last month. So the application is to divide a single parcel, map 7, lot 9, into 3 parcels, which qualifies as a subdivision because the third division of any lot within 5 years triggers subdivision review. So that's why we're all here. And we'll jump right to approval standards. So the standards of this code, which we just voted on, we'll vote on Article 7 after we wrap up voting on all of the individual pieces of the subdivision review. But we'll also, there's no new development proposed, so the Newcastle Road driveways and entrances ordinance does not apply. There are entrances or a driveway, I'm assuming, for the house right now, but you're not proposing to change it or in any way modify it at this time. And you're not proposing to put in anything else at this time. It's literally just the division of the land that we're talking about. So do I have a motion that the Newcastle Roads driveways and entrance ordinances has been met?
So
Moved and seconded. Do we any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. All right, so
do you have to go through all these?
I have to go through C through U.
I mean, but you have to do like Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral
No. No, I don't have to do those, just the major ones. Yeah. And nothing here is flagged, so we'll go through them. Did he actually flag anything for us? No, he really didn't, did he? We just have to vote on each of them individually. Okay, folks,
Can't
just
vote to vote on them
bear with
collectively.
us.
It's not possible.
I have asked and council
Yep,
says,
legal,
please do
legal,
them
yep.
individually.
Yep.
That way, we can say that we've reviewed each of them. And even if we do them fast.
Oh,
all right.
Actually, item U.
Yeah, well, we'll get to you.
Yep, it has an issue.
Okay, so back to
pollution.
C, pollution. The proposed subdivision will not result in undue water or air pollution. In making this determination, at least consider all of the things in pollution management. Do I have a motion on pollution? Move to accept. Seconded by Kevin. Any discussion about pollution of the subdivision? No. Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. Moving down to sufficient water. The proposed subdivision has sufficient water available for the reasonably foreseeable needs of the subdivision. Do I have a motion to accept sufficient water for the
So
subdivision.
moved.
Moved and seconded by Wanda. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor? Sufficient water has passed. Municipal water supply. The proposed subdivision will not cause an unreasonable burden on an existing water supply, and the project can be served as planned if one is to be used. As far as I know, municipal water does not extend out that far. So it's a non-issue. We have to vote on it anyway. Do I have a motion?
So
Moved and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Wouldn't it be nice to have municipal water out there maybe, but we don't. All in favor? That passed. Erosion. The proposed subdivision will not cause unreasonable soil erosion or a reduction in the land's capacity to hold water so that a dangerous or unhealthy condition results. No development is proposed in the application, so it's non-applicable, but I need a motion on it anyway.
moved.
Moved by Scott, seconded by Kevin. My go-to guys here.
Yeah.
Any further discussion about erosion caused by the subdivision? Seeing none, all in favor? Erosion passes. Traffic. The proposed subdivision will not cause unreasonable highway or public road congestion or unsafe conditions with respect to the use of highways or public roads existing or proposed. If the proposed subdivision requires driveways or entrances onto a state or state aid highway, the Department of Transportation has provided documentation indicating the driveway or entrances meet Title 23, Section 704. Again, not applicable, but we got a motion on it. Do I have a motion?
So
Moved and seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion about traffic? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. Sewage disposal. I'm getting tired reading all this. The proposed subdivision will provide for adequate sewage waste disposal and will not cause an unreasonable burden on municipal services if they are utilized. Do I have a motion on sewage disposal?
moved.
Moved. Seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes.
Do you want me to read these and like take a break and I can?
Yeah, really.
And then you can just.
Let me get
like-
through this page and you can do the next. What did I just do? Okay, municipal solid waste disposal. The proposed subdivision will not cause an unreasonable burden on the municipality's ability to dispose of solid waste if municipal services are to be utilized. Do I have a motion on municipal solid waste disposal?
So moved.
So moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. Aesthetic, cultural, and natural values. The proposed subdivision will not have an undue adverse effect on the scenic or natural beauty of the area, aesthetics, historic sites, significant wildlife habitat identified by the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife or the municipality, or rare and irreplaceable natural areas, or any public rights or physical or visual access to the shoreline. It's an odd turn of phrase. Do I have a motion on aesthetic, cultural, and natural values?
So moved.
Moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. Financial and technical capacity. The subdivider has adequate financial and technical capacity to meet the standards of this section. Do I have a motion on financial and technical capacity?
So moved.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Seconded.
It's your turn.
All in favor of financial and technical capacity? Surface waters, whenever situated entirely or partially within the watershed of any pond or lake within 250 feet of a wetland, great pond, or river is defined in Title 38, Chapter 3, Subchapter 1. Article 2B of the proposed subdivision will not adversely affect the quality of that body of water or unreasonably affect the shoreline of that body of water. The proposed subdivision does not have any issues with that.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of surface waters? Thank you. Okay, take it away, Scott.
Okay, groundwater. The proposed subdivision will not alone or in conjunction with existing activities adversely affect the quality or quantity of groundwater.
No development proposed, so it doesn't apply. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor of groundwater? Groundwater passes. Flood areas.
Flood areas. Based on the Federal Emergency Management Agency's flood boundary and floodway maps and flood insurance rate maps, if the subdivision or any part of it is in such an area, the subdivider will determine the 100-year flood elevation and flood hazard boundaries within the subdivision. The proposed subdivision plan must include a condition of plan approval requiring that principal structures on the subdivision will be constructed with their lowest floor, including the basement, at least 3 feet above the 100-year flood elevation.
So it's worth reading this real quick because it says the area immediately adjacent to Deer Meadow Brook at the western end of the property and 2 strips of land towards the middle of the site, all within the 100-year flood zone. Flood hazard area as determined by FEMA. As such, a condition of approval has been attached to the approval of this application in compliance with the above standards. Do I have a motion on flood areas?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Thank you. All in favor? That passes. Freshwater wetlands.
All freshwater wetlands within the proposed subdivision have been identified on any map submitted as part of the application.
No wetlands have been identified within the area of the proposed subdivision, so do I have a motion on freshwater wetlands?
So moved.
Moved by Scott, seconded by Kevin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of freshwater wetlands? That passes. Thank you. River, streams, and brooks.
Any river, stream, or brook within the or abutting the proposed subdivision has been identified on any map submitted as part of the application. For purposes of this section, river, stream, or brook has the same meaning as in Title 38, Section 480B, subsection 9.
And Deer Meadow Brook is the only river that's been identified. It's good. All right, do I have a motion on river, streams, or brooks?
So moved.
Moved, seconded. Do we have any discussion about river, streams, or brooks? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes. Stormwater.
The proposed subdivision will provide for adequate stormwater management and comply with state stormwater management law 38 MRSA section 420D.
I have a motion on stormwater.
So moved.
Thank you. Second, discussion. Seeing none, all in favor of stormwater. Spaghetti lots.
Okay.
Sorry, that passes.
What is a spaghetti lot?
A very thin lot
Okay.
with a little tiny bit of frontage.
Oh, okay. All right.
Gives a lot of people water.
I see. All right. There you go. If any lots in the proposed subdivision have shore frontage on a river, stream, brook, great pond, or coastal wetlands, as these features are defined in Title 38, Section 480B, none of the lots created within the subdivision may have a lot depth to shore frontage ratio greater than 5:1.
Not applicable. Do I have a motion on spaghetti lots?
So moved.
Thank you. Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Spaghetti lots passes. Lake phosphorus concentration.
The long-term cumulative effects of the proposed subdivision will not unreasonably increase the phosphorus concentration in a great pond as defined in MRSA Title 38, Section 480B during the construction phase and life of the proposed subdivision, or in the absence of a great pond, otherwise cause phosphorus concentration in freshwater bodies.
Not applicable at this time. So do I have a motion on lake?
So moved.
Thank you. No discussion? All in favor? That passes. Can we take over for the last two?
Yeah, you do it.
All right. Impact on adjoining municipality. For any proposed subdivision that crosses municipal boundaries, the proposed subdivision will not cause unreasonable traffic congestion or unsafe conditions with respect to the use of existing public ways in an adjoining municipality in which part of the subdivision is located. The site address is approximately 3/4 of the nearest municipal boundary, which falls under no significant impact. So do I have a motion on impact
So moved.
on adjoining municipalities? Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of impact on adjoining municipalities, that passes. Good. Last one, lands subject to liquidation harvesting. Timber on a parcel being subdivided has not been harvested in violation of rules adopted pursuant to Title 12, Section 8869, subsection 14. If a violation of rules adopted by the Maine Forest Service to substantially eliminate liquidation harvesting has occurred, the planning board must determine prior to granting approval for the subdivision that 5 years have elapsed from the date the landowner under whose ownership the harvest occurred acquired the parcel. The lot addressed under this application remains forested and undeveloped. Information on any violation on the property within the last 5 years was requested from the Maine Forest Service on May 20th, 2025. Almost a month. Okay. Do I have a motion on land subject to liquidation harvesting?
So moved.
Moved, second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That passes 5-0. So. Couple more things we have to do.
Just one question. That
Yeah.
means there's a contingency, right? Because
Yes, I think let me just put it.
yeah, it's down at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's a condition,
It's a condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
condition of approval.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear.
Okay.
Got to hear back to the beer.
So let's just go back to, this is Article 7. Do I have a motion that the proposed application meets the meets the standards of Article 7 administration.
So moved.
Moved. Seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor that it meets Article 7? That passes. So 2 more votes. The first one is to find the application. Do I have a motion to find the application for subdivision of map 7 lot 9 West 99 West Hamlet Road dated April 15th, 2025 and updated through June 12th, 2025 to be complete?
So moved.
Moved by Scott. Do I have a second? Seconded by Kevin. Any discussion about that? All in favor of completeness? That passes. Okay. He gave me. Okay, so let's just go over the conditions real quick here. Conditions for approval. Oh my goodness. Okay.
One is just future.
Yeah,
proof
one is
again.
just for future stuff. It's all about principal structures proposed on any lot within the subdivision shall be constructed with their lowest floor, including basement, at least 3 feet above the 100-year flood elevation. It's the flood plain that we were talking about.
Standard.
Yeah, standard. Additional conditions, these are the standard stuff. I'm actually not even going to read them because they're just standard. There's
They have to be done.
nothing weird about them. Have you seen them?
Yeah, and I put them on.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add, object to? Okay. All right. So seeing that and having found that the submitted application is in compliance with all the articles of the core zoning code, meets all the subdivision standards, do I have a motion to approve the application as submitted?
So moved. Oh, sorry, he got it. He got
Kevin got it. Kevin got it.
it. Second.
Seconded.
I'm all right. Ooh, that's really sharp.
All right. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Do you have anything you want to add?
No.
Take away?
No.
Okay. All in favor of approval? That passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting through that.
Yeah, thank you for reading a little bit. And I have these for signature, is that right?
You can leave them with us. I'm gonna pass it to Michael. He's gonna finalize the findings of facts and conclusions of law. This is just a draft. And then, yeah, so he'll get it all prepared and then we'll get it signed for you.
Okay, in the next week or so, or is it?
Yeah, so he is currently, just so you know,
Yeah.
he's currently in Providence, I think.
Yeah.
So when he comes back next week, he'll get on to all this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't have to wait until the next planning board.
You
meeting.
do not.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to number 4, new business. Map 12 lot 9-2, 7 Hall Street. Pre-submittal meeting. Come on up. Yes, please. Grab another chair somewhere. You can grab one of these if you want.
How's it going, man?
Hey there, how are you?
Fred and Katie said hi.
What's that?
Fred and Katie.
Oh, good.
Just saying.
I know
So,
I had the honor of meeting them.
oh. Oh, awesome.
Read the sheet.
Thank you for seeing us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You need any extra?
No.
Okay.
Has this been digitally like emailed to the town planner?
It has not yet.
Okay.
He asked us to do so and we will.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we can make PDFs of it, and they exist as PDFs and we email it.
Well, thank you for this. Why don't you give us a rundown on what you're thinking about doing for a project?
Sure. And we have boards too. You don't have an easel, right?
I don't think
We could do this.
That's perfect.
Does that work?
That's great.
Awesome.
How about like
Yeah.
that?
Oh, that's great.
Okay, do we need to introduce ourselves?
Yes, please.
Okay, so you go first.
I'm Paul Seidlinger. A couple of you know me. I've owned and operated Newcastle Center for about 29 years now. And we have, as a couple of you know, most of you know, maybe, we have a residential, building up there off, Academy Hill, which is on 7th Hall Street. And as Brian's indicating there on the photo. And so I got a separate lot that I own in between my large building there and Newcastle Marine. And it is a lot that obviously has the city water, city sewer. And for many years, the last quite a few years now, people have been asking me like, geez, you really should build, you know, we have a need for so much housing and it's going up here, there and everywhere. And I thought, I don't know, I'm getting kind of old. I'm not really sure if it's worth it. And I'm not, you know, and my wife and I kind of got a 2 to 4 year plan exit strategy, you know. So, but I thought, you know what, so many people have come to me. It's definitely not a month goes by. And sometimes it's almost every week. Someone's like, you want to sell or you get a little, you break off a piece of it or this or that.
Yep.
So I just thought, well, maybe I'll see what is possible with this piece of property. Whether I can follow through on it or not, I really don't know.
Mhm.
But I thought I would invest a little bit of money, what it takes to have Brian help me, see if I can wade through this and see maybe if I can't do it, but I can get approval to do it, maybe it would enhance the sale of the property. I've made one thing very clear to my children in their late 30s that I'm not part of your retirement plan. I'm selling this. My wife and I are selling this. And I'm told from my peers it's a heck of a lot easier to divide dollars than it is dirt. So that's kind of our family estate planning part of it. So there's a lot of ins and outs and some variances that are going to be required and there's some things that I may not fully understand, which is why I have Brian helping me. And so I guess in a nutshell, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Like, I can't guarantee I'll do it because like if it turns out that I need to spend $100,000 of lawyers' fees and this fee and that fee to find out whether I can, I'm not into that. If it can be done in a few town meetings and the town thinks it warrants a need for more housing, I'm full and I've been full since George Bush was president. This demand for housing that you hear so much about, to me as a commercial landlord, it's nothing new at all. There's always been a demand for housing. One thing is I find interesting though, around here, a segment of the market of the people that live at my place, they're caught in this economic wedge where they don't qualify for a lot of low income housing. They're right, but yet they can't really swing a new house that's for, what's our median house price around here? You guys know, you're all experts.
Closing in on 400.
Yeah. And so they're right in that little spot there. And that's the majority of my tenants, which many of them, it, for better or for worse, becomes the last stop, if you will. If it's not Cove's Edge or Strong Funeral, but it's just, you know, it's a lot of widows and divorcees.
Yeah.
So anyways, so it's kind of an R&D. I'm trying to figure out what's possible.
Cool. Great.
I guess that means I'm up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Tag.
Okay, so my name is Brian Scheutzger, Scheuzger.
Thank you for that.
No problem. And I'm an architect with Madamic Design. We're a husband-wife architectural firm in Waldoboro.
Great.
So I've been practicing for about 30 years now.
Awesome.
So Paul called us up last year and asked if we could help him look at this piece of property and come up with potential apartment complex that could work. There are two things that we're aware of that are in play here with this particular zone, because we are in the ST fabrication zone.
Yes.
And having conversations with Michael, you know, we had flagged the two things that are potential for, he thought, okay, we'll bring it forward to the planning board,
Yeah.
see what they think about it. And if it's something that they think ought to go beyond the planning board and go to, I guess, the Board of Appeals, then that could be our next step, but we're here to determine and see what you all have to say.
Yep.
So those two things are that we are proposing an all residential structure. We're not proposing mixed use. We're proposing 12 apartments, 3 floors with 4 units per floor.
Yep.
And in the SD fabrication, it says in building standards, item number 3, no more than 45% of the total gross square floor area of mixed use building shall be residential use. So obviously we are saying, well, we want to go 100% residential use.
Yep.
The second item that we are knowing that we are looking at that is different from what the zoning for this ST fabrication zone says is total stories. It says total stories 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1, 1 for different, the 2 other accessory uses. We are proposing 3. We did have a conversation, I did have a conversation with Michael about ways that you can sort of tuck a third roof under a roof. By bringing the roof down, so to speak, and potentially we could end up continuing those conversations. It's a little bit tricky, maybe a lot bit tricky, because we are small units per floor.
Yep.
Each unit is only 450 square feet. So if you start taking roof slope out of each unit, you start losing quite a bit of that unit.
Yep.
Just before the meeting, Paul and I were talking, if it became a sticking point, would we potentially be looking at something like maybe they turn into studio apartments instead of 1-bedroom apartments. Maybe there's 2 units on the top floor instead of 4, and they're longer instead of 4 sort of square units.
Yeah.
So that's something that potentially, if it came to it and Paul wants to do it, we could potentially look at something like that. But right now we're proposing hopefully to have it be 4 units per floor on 3 floors.
Okay.
There are, I don't know how familiar you are with the site. Second page is what your handout has a few pictures of the site itself. We didn't capture some of the buildings beyond, but over here, the structure here is basically 3 stories if you measure it from its grade point. So it's not like things are necessarily short in context.
In other words, every building around me is a 3-story building.
Right. So, yeah, I think those are the two big points. It's in terms of its look and structure, we did include on the last 2 pages, basically having floor plans and the exterior views. It's a simple square almost with 1 stairway on the end. We're going to potentially look at seeing if we can make a provision for an elevator. These plans don't show that yet. We're
Yeah.
sort of still in the design phase, if you will.
Yep.
So it would have on the first floor provision for laundry on site. I know at one point, Paul, you were talking about whether that laundry is available to the public beyond the units. I don't know if you've had any additional thoughts on that, but right now it's serving the units. Building code does allow us to only have 1 stairway when there's only 4 units per floor.
Yeah.
The alternate means of egress from each unit is through the window. So that's allowable. And really, when you look at the site plan, which is the 3rd sheet, I don't have a board for that one. You can see this particular parcel, there's not a lot of room. So we're really we're taking advantage pretty much of almost all we can take advantage of.
Yeah.
In that sort of diamond shaped parcel that there is.
Yeah.
So the existing duplex, which is a 1-story unit, actually, it's not a duplex, there's one way.
It's single family.
There's only single family in there, would remain. And in terms of parking, once we have a survey to work off of, right now, we're just using lamination of different things. Paul does own everything within the blue here, and there is potential parking
Correct.
down here. So we would do when the time came, we would do a study to make sure we had enough for the new units and enough for the existing units. You have 15 in here,
Yeah, 15 units
15
in the
units
big
here.
existing building.
and then we would be proposing 12.
And I currently have maybe like 35 to 38 parking spots. Currently.
So,
And-
parking is one of those. Unless you're expanding an existing parking lot or proposing to build a new parking lot of 10 slots or more, we have no parking standards. It's up to you.
Okay, great. And I did want to add something that Brian admitted to. It's important to me, as I recognize more every day, the whole first floor, I want to do if I did it, I want to do a total handicap, unit, kitchen. And then I want the rest of the first floor, which would be the remaining three, maybe not 100% ADA, but knocking on the door, pretty user friendly for
Mhm.
my generation.
Everybody wants ground floor living.
Yeah, you know, and that's why we have made a provision for an elevator, you know, to be framed in if we went through with all of this.
Yep.
Right, an elevator is by code is not required for this particular use and size, but we are noting that it would be a good idea
Right.
to have for particularly tenants on the third floor,
Sure.
so.
Okay, great.
Totally sprinkled, no,
Right.
human life and safety systems, for the hearing and sight impaired, like I have in my existing building.
Right.
The only private owned building in Newcastle with that type of system.
Yeah.
And no taxpayer funding either.
So you're not gonna,
I would have no grants or no,
Okay.
nothing like that. I would probably pay closer to retail on interest rate going. I've talked to several of my local banks and they all said, yeah, go do your thing and come back to us.
Okay.
So I'm doing my thing.
Great, I love it. So, this is just so I'm setting the stage real quick for the conversation. This is a pre-submittal meeting, which means we're not gonna be voting on anything.
Sure.
We're not gonna be, and nothing that we say should be taken as
Etched in stone, so to speak.
correct. It's literally, trying to identify, you know, things that might need to be addressed when the application comes forward so that the time isn't on the back side of that, it's on the
Sure.
front side, we try to front load it. We can identify everything that like, oh, this needs to be addressed, this needs to be addressed before you get your application, then we don't have to make, come back 3, 4, 5 times.
Sure.
So that's really the point of this, so, and I thank you for pointing out the places where the code is going to be, you know, slightly problematic in terms of how this gets addressed. The only other thing I'm looking at, just wondering, because you're right on the property lines there, right on the property lines. But primary building placement is 5 feet from the side setback. 5
Yep.
feet from the rear setback.
Right, we're on the, you're looking at the site plan on page 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the setback line shown,
Yep, exactly.
so we're within that.
But not on the property line, on the left side of the building.
Well, that's we're considering this the front,
You're considering that the front.
right, well, I mean, you enter here, but
Well, that's interesting.
this is basically, if you were putting this on the road, this would be the road. Even though you're coming in on a sidewalk and entering on the side, so that's how we were
That's an interesting idea.
considering it.
Is that about Newcastle Reed? That one?
So,
Is that about Newcastle Reed?
yeah, who's the other? Is
Yeah.
that Rob Bloods?
Rob Blood's place?
Yeah, Rob Blood owns the Newcastle Marine.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
where that's.
Correct.
that's-
And this is an individual, this is 2 separate parcels that I own
Yeah.
for clarity.
Yeah.
So I'm the abutter on one side, Rob Blood is the abutter on the other side.
Can you have a frontal zone though with no
With no front.
external door?
That's what I'm listening to.
I guess Hall Street. I mean, you've shown you've got there's a support there, but you know, I don't know what officially. Looking at the Newcastle, you just that thing.
Yeah.
It's like it implies that all streets and with the left forward with that. I don't know what.
Yeah, what is that?
With that would make your frontage.
This
I don't know.
existing What is it, where? Again?
So right here, we basically say this is the front.
Oh, that's not the front, that's the side. The front's right there. The front faces Route 1. What I consider the front, I guess it's matter of opinion, I mean,
Yeah, well,
what I'm thinking, the front of the building or the face of the building would be facing Hall Street and or for that matter, Route 1.
Where the main entrance is.
Right,
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
so
the front of the building is where the main.
Correct.
So if the setback becomes an issue on the,
What would that be? Is it
on this side right here,
Left side.
south side?
it is possible we could potentially rotate this a little bit and slide it. Cause we're not that far
You're
from,
not that far.
from getting 5, if we need to get 5 on that side.
Bring it forward 3 feet, move it
Yeah.
north
Right, it's a little bit of a
3 feet, and you're good.
tilt and move game.
Um,
It would make it more parallel with the singles story
yeah,
existing.
so we do have a section in building standards article on page 50 of the core zoning code called primary entrances.
Mhm.
That might bear some reviewing. So just so we're clear, it applies to new buildings in any district, it applies to modification of existing buildings. And the purpose is to ensure that buildings are accessible from public roads as a way to encourage pedestrian activity, to prevent long expanses of blank walls, which you're not gonna have long expanses of road. But the primary entrance must be located along the primary frontage of the primary building's main building. So, yes, I think that's right, as long as we're considering the main entrance to the front of the building,
Okay,
you're good,
okay.
you're good. Yeah. I think that is- So, yeah, I mean, let's go back to the district page, which is on page 36 and 37 of the core zoning code. Just look at this real quick. Because yeah, it does, they're building standards, right? So it does say no more than 45% of the total gross floor area of a mixed use building shall be a residential use. And if you look at the permitted building types, you're absolutely correct. We don't have a multi-unit residential building type that's permittable in that district. We have single unit commercial, mixed use, multi-unit commercial, and then accessory buildings. And so to answer your question about the height, the first floor is allowed to be up to 22 feet. So 2 stories, but the first one can be 22 feet tall.
Okay,
And then. Right. So I mean, it would fit within the size of a mixed use building for sure. If you know, if that's the way that you go.
Mhm.
The issue with so I can't advise you, but what I can say is this. Our code allows us to waive very, very few things. Virtually none. And only when explicitly called. So this board does not have the authority to allow a multi-unit residence. That's just not within our power. Because we don't have the right to do a waiver. So the path that I'm envisioning at the moment would be there's a couple different paths you can depending on how much time you want, but you can put in an application And we can review it and make a determination, either approve or deny. I'm not gonna say which. But I will say we have to follow it. You can then file for an appeal. You can't go to the Board of Appeals without something to appeal.
Mhm.
So you need to have that in hand to schedule a meeting on the Board of Appeals. But what I will tell you about that process is they're allowed to grant variances if you meet all 4 criteria for which a variance can be granted. And I can't recall all of them off the top of my head. You have to meet all 4. Very, very hard to do. So I can't guess or suggest what they're gonna say, but again, I will tell you that they are bound the same way that we are bound. They're not allowed to offer waivers, variances without explicit, approval in the code. So I'm not gonna say more about that
Mhm.
path. The other way to go, potential way to go, is if we go to article, the administration article, 7, is it? And it depends on how much, what your time frame, what your horizon is for this project. And I'm not making any determination about whether the community wants it or not. That's not up to us at all. What's up to us?
Yeah, not relevant.
It's not relevant.
I
Yeah, what's
get
up to
that.
us is
Sure, I get
just
that.
whether it meets the code or not,
Sure.
right? I'm just trying to give you as many options as possible.
Well, thank you.
Um,
And I'm just exercising due diligence.
yeah,
here,
and you
really.
should. This is great. This is exactly why we have these meetings, so I think
Sure.
it's perfect. Thank you. So we have called. It wouldn't be a special permit. Page 94. We have a zoning amendment clause in our zoning code. So to provide an applicant a way to change zoning regulations in response to changes in Newcastle policy, factors or conditions that may be affecting real property. Applies to any property within the town of Newcastle. The process or the authority is the Board of Selectmen processes all requests for zoning text or map amendments and places requests for amendments on the annual or special town meeting. The approval or denial of a zoning text or map amendment is a discretionary legislative act by majority vote at an annual or special town meeting. And there's a procedure about how you go for doing this. So, for example, this can be used. You have to take it to the town for a vote, which can be done at a special town meeting. So you can propose a zoning amendment, and that could look like. Okay, I've got this piece of property, it's in this district. I'd like the town to consider putting it in a different district so that I can do my project. And that would be changing the color of that parcel on the map. Everybody has to vote. And then if that passes, you'd have a path to submit an application that will be move on. You can also use that to modify the core zoning code itself. If you believe, for example, strongly that residential buildings should be allowed in that district, that's a conversation with the community. And so you could make the proposal, I think multi-unit residential buildings should be allowed in the fabrication district. And you could propose that as a zoning amendment, and it would go through the usual process of, being written up, being considered by this board, being voted on, taken to public hearing, and then ultimately taken to a special or annual town meeting to vote on people. The other thing you could do is you could just make a mixed use building.
Right. And what's kind of
Like a
interesting
shopping
too is it currently now existing and for decades, the majority of the dwellings in that district are all residential.
Yeah.
They're not commercial. They're
No, it's
residential.
the mix, I think. So,
It's a slight mix and it's about 65%,
yeah,
65-70%.
well, let's go back to the district page, because,
But I mean,
yeah, well, let's just read it, because,
it's predominantly overwhelmingly residential in that in my section of the neighborhood. Now, I'm not exactly sure how far that district goes before it goes into I believe the railroad tracks, maybe I'm just taking a
Pretty
guess.
much.
The
Pretty-
railroad tracks,
railroad
yeah, on that side. And
It's
how mu-
basically from the bridge, you know, the underpass, the bridge to the railroad track.
Okay, that is a very, kind of
And
a short span, isn't it?
sideways. yes,
Narrow, yeah,
sideways.
long.
Yeah, I mean, that's not probably more than 150 feet from the underpass, I mean, the overpass to the
Yeah, I don't know.
to the railroad tracks.
Let me just read the description and purpose of the district,
Sure.
just so we're all on the same page here.
Yep.
The fabrication, I'm on page, 36 of the core zoning. The description, the fabrication special district allows a mix of industrial, office, retail, live, work, flex spaces and other supporting development. Purpose of which is one, to accommodate more intensive industrial uses in a way that is compatible with and in proximity to higher density residential areas. Two, to support existing industrial uses and provide an area for their expansion. And three, to allow for residential uses that are compatible with industrial activities. So I think the district, the way I'm reading that, is really intended to be that mix of in more intensive industrial uses in proximity with residential uses that are compatible with industrial activities. And you're not wrong. We've got a lot of residential stuff in there, but we've got a lot of, you know, industrial stuff, activity taking place there as well,
4
on both sides,
in that span, 4,
on both sides.
including both sides. We have Pucky Oil, where the former Pucky Oil used to be,
Fuck you,
on that side of the road.
main industrial.
Okay, then you come across the street, you have Main Industrial, and you also have Lincoln Academy and Rob Blood.
And you've got Xander's.
Yeah, he's selling that.
But it's the use that it is.
Okay.
Makes, you know, these are property.
Yeah.
And then across the street, you got Bucket, and then you got the oil place back, past the main industrial. Right. The big oil
Yeah,
place.
no, there's no office there.
No, I'm just saying the use,
Yeah, there's just oil tanks.
oil things,
Yeah. No dwelling.
right? So I think, I've been talking an awful lot, I don't know if I have any other thoughts or things to bring up or any other considerations? Thoughts to have before, you know, an application is put forward? Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think I get the need, trust me, I get the need for more housing. Been on that bandwagon for a long time. But in terms of our authority,
Sure.
this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I understand.
But I think I've given a couple of different options for, you know, moving the project forward. Couple of different ways to go.
Yeah, I'm not emotionally attached to it at all.
Okay,
Not at all,
Yeah.
you know, it's like I said, we have an exit strategy down to a few more years here.
yeah.
And then,
Well, honestly,
but if I can do it and it can help and contribute to maybe a little bit of the community dilemma, I've seen a lot of it. Like I said, my place is Lincoln Home too sometimes, or
Yeah.
Cove's Edge too.
Yeah.
It's next to the last stop, you know, so the need sure is there, that's for sure. But if I can pull it off, fine, and if I can't, well, can't say I didn't try to my
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, the zoning amendment path is.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
You
yeah.
could, it might take a little while, but it's a way to. get exactly
Everything
what-
worthwhile takes,
Yeah,
a little
Uh,
time.
yeah.
And
but I mean,
should
it's
tell you,
there. It's a way.
It is in there, yeah. I should tell you that we are now in the regular habit or process of having at least 3 special town meetings a year in addition to the annual town meeting, so once a quarter,
sure,
we've got, you know,
An
stuff
opportunity.
happening. So
Yep.
it's not like it would take a year,
yeah,
you know, because the annual town meeting started this past Monday and we're getting together to vote in person on Monday night. Is that right? Monday night?
The 16th.
Thank you.
And sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And the first step of that process is to go before the board of the select board
For a zoning
for
amendment,
the zoning amendment clause? Yeah,
the best thing to do would be to have a conversation with Mike to
okay,
nail down the process.
okay.
And he can help guide you right through.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's written out.
It's written right in the code.
Okay.
Yes, so you can review that and then he can help you prepare whatever needs to be prepared.
And the other thing you mentioned was the zoning board of appeals had the 4 criteria.
They
Is
do
that-
for a variance.
For variance, is that an easy to identify section that you could point to, just for when we leave here and just look at it and see how challenging or not that may be?
It's on page 93.
Okay, thank you.
So you know, it's not.
Getting off the zone.
Okay, that's for zoning appeal.
So the
Requirements.
Board of Appeals. What did I say, 93?
Yeah.
Variance is 93.
Okay,
19.
Yes, exactly. Variances start on 93,
okay,
rolls
thank-
on to 94.
And then
Thank
their
you.
approval standards, those are the 4.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
just to be clear, because you said zoning board of appeals, some towns have a specific zoning board of appeals.
Yeah.
We just have a board of appeals.
Board of Appeals. Thank you.
All appeals, whether they're zoning or not, goes
Gotcha.
to the board of appeals.
Thank you.
No, it's fine. It's just point of clarification.
Yeah.
They're not 2 separate boards. So yeah, that would be good to review. And then if you have any questions regarding that, again, Michael would be able to help you.
Okay,
I mean, I honestly, I love the project. I think it's great. Speaking on a personal note. I think it's awesome. It's exactly the kind of stuff that we want to see. In this
People can
district,
walk
however,
to town, walk to
Yeah.
the doctor.
that's what they want. Absolutely.
And there's already that use there.
Yes,
You've
absolutely.
already get.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Rob's
Not a super
project
threat.
is very supportive.
Yeah. And I, when Michael gets back, I'll talk to him. We have been doing some work on this specific district, this fabrication district.
Yeah,
In the past, 2 years, honestly, right? We've been talking about it a lot. And there's some things that we've been talking about that haven't kind of gelled yet.
Yeah.
So adding this conversation to that might produce some interesting potential
Sure.
changes to the code. The thing that actually and I'm speaking totally off book here. The thing that I like about this potential project is that it fronts onto Route 1. Well, I mean,
it's Route 1 exposure for
it's
sure.
Route 1 exposure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And another thing, which is from the building point of view, that is advantageous is that it has city water, city sewer.
Yes.
So to speak.
Yes.
I mean, GSB.
right.
That's
No,
a
it's in
huge
the
nut
growth.
to crack.
Absolutely. It's in the growth district. Absolutely. Yeah, it's identified in the comp plan as being in the growth.
So I'm not gonna be able to get any 3-4% loans, so like some
Yeah, no.
projects, nor do I want them because I wanna do it on my own or not do it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want your money to do it.
Yeah.
I want my money to do it.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I think we all understand the challenges. And do you guys have any other questions or?
I don't really, do you?
concern?
no,
Do you have questions? No.
Okay.
At the moment.
All right. Well, if you do, after this meeting, Michael's the best point of contact.
Okay,
And he will relay whatever needs to be relayed to us.
yeah, and he was helpful. I've only spoken to him a couple times on the phone.
Yeah.
And I know he said he was gonna be away for this. Do you happen to know when he will be returning?
Not off the top of my
Okay,
head,
thank you.
but I think he has 2 dedicated days for Newcastle because we share him with Darren Scott.
Yeah.
So he's in the office Tuesdays and Thursdays
Thursdays, right.
and sometimes on Fridays.
Yeah.
And so email is really and his phone number is listed on the website.
Yep.
I think he'll be back for Tuesday, but
Okay,
not entirely sure.
great, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you
very
for your
much.
time.
thank you for your time this evening,
Absolutely.
gentlemen and lady. Scott, I guess we just missed it, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, man, that's
Did you hear that?
Were you guys there?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
the day before you were.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, this is told me that, it's like, because we were coming back from where you were.
Yeah, that's where I
Oh,
just
that's
been.
fun.
Yeah, we,
Ah,
the world is this big.
it really is. Awesome. Okay,
Thanks again.
thank you. All right, so.
I was just gonna make one side comment, their project aligns with the Build Maine philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Literally.
All right, so other business, we don't have a planner's report, but
Yeah.
are there any public comments for items not on the agenda or otherwise?
Can I ask, did you actually call the public hearing for the Rugman? I mean, she did her application for subdivision.
I didn't, but you know what's interesting about that? Technically, you don't have to, because any meeting of the planning board is a public hearing.
Okay, all right. I just realized that I don't remember that being,
Yeah.
okay, all right, that's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
I think if there had been anybody here. They would.
Of the public.
They would-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have spoken up.
And the point is to give people the
Yep,
option.
yep.
Do you have anything you want to add? All right. Great. Okay, well, then seeing none and without objection, meeting adjourned, 7:32.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for taking over there in the middle.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
It would have been